one of my first recorded real life conversations. How exciting. I am lucky enough to have met Grace through some networking events that I've been to. And in fact, she was one of the first people that I spoke to the first time that I wore a Real Life Conversations name badge with my name underneath it. And that was a daunting day. And having somebody like Grace actually be able to say hello to me and engage me in a conversation, I was so grateful. And at the time, hopefully you didn't know, it was my first ever one of those right in the beginning. But I was very, very grateful to you at the time. You gave me some confidence when we started to talk about what I was doing. And when I realized what you were doing, I was like, oh my God, I cannot believe that this lady is the first one that I've spoken to. So Grace, welcome. Thank you. Why don't you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about you?
So Grace Hanley, Director of Sussex Staffing Solutions and Enabling Support. I've worked in adult social care for more than 20 years, qualified as a social worker in 2000. Yes, so I've always worked with people, for vulnerable people, always adults as well. So yeah, my whole career. And 4 years ago started my first business.
Amazing. Amazing. So why don't you tell me a little bit more about these businesses?
So Sussex Staffing Solutions, we started about 4 years ago. We support other care organisations with temporary staffing. We have carers, we have support workers, we have RGNs, we've got RMNs and dental nurses. So if it's a nursing home, a dental practice, a home care provider that are short of staff or surgeons in demand, then we can support with that. We've got a lovely team, genuinely kind and caring bunch, which I think is really important. And then all the kind of compliance training and all that kind of stuff that you'd expect. So yeah, so that's Sussex Staffing Solutions. And I think it's about 18 months ago, I started Enable and Support, and that's a domiciliary home care company. So yeah, so again, our slogan is kindness and care every day, and that's busy, it's growing, and again, it's about, for both of them, it's about quality, person-centred care with a great team.
Wow, that's a lot. Thank you. I mean, first of all, 2 businesses. I mean, why have one when you can have 2? Takes a special kind of person. So amazing. Kindness and care, I think you said. It's a really interesting and amazing way of trying to bring it to life, because ultimately it does boil down to kindness.
Absolutely.
And my experience of, like, my mum obviously is right there, it's right in front of me, but kindness goes such a long way, and it's the little things that make such a difference.
It really is, and I think it's kind of what the team's doing in terms of the tasks that need to be done, and of course that's important, but for me it's how it's done. It's enabling your team to have the time to communicate with people, to be kind. I mean, in terms of when I'm recruiting for both Sussex Staffing Solutions and Enable and Support, a person's values are most important to me. Yeah. And if you're thinking about somebody who's got no experience of working in care, if they've got the right values, that's the most important thing, because the rest of it can be taught and it can be learnt. Yeah. And it almost sounds a wee bit twee, but it's not. I think if somebody wants to do the work and is genuinely kind, then they're the right person to do it. Yeah. And I think my many years of social work, I think you see a particular kind of part of social care, and that's usually or often can be safeguarding or issues around kind of abuse and neglect, etc. So I have seen in my social work career how things shouldn't be done. Very much so. So with both businesses in terms of recruitment, but specifically with Enable and Support, wanting to be a home care company that does things kind of differently. As I said, enabling the team to have the time that they need to deliver the care, but also making sure they, that they have a wee chat with people, because it might be those people, they're the only person they'll see all day. And it's so, I think, kindness and care is our slogan for enabling support. And I mean it, genuinely so.
Yeah, and you and I have had many a conversation, and I can absolutely see how you as a leader in this space could bring that to life, and your team could follow you with that, because I think it's at your heart.
Yes.
Yeah, well, it sings out. It absolutely sings out. One of the things that you touched on there, I think, is so important. And I haven't heard many people talk about it before, but that's about how do you create the time for good care? So I was wondering if you could just talk a little bit about how and what that means to you as a business.
So in kind of practical terms, it's ensuring that you're allocating the right amount of time for what needs to be done. Yeah. So depending on what a person needs, what I never want is to have a care company where people kind of running in, dumping a cup of tea in front of somebody and going.
Yeah.
Now, but it's also about how you use the time with the person. So, for example, you can make somebody a cup of tea, but while you're doing it, you should be chatting with them. You should be checking with them beforehand, actually, do you want a cup of tea this morning? Or do you want something different today? It's just tiny things in terms of effective communication, enabling choice wherever that's possible. So it might be only have half an hour. It's like, how can you get the very best out of that half an hour? And how can you use that as a genuine opportunity to have a positive impact on that person, their lives? Because I think you can, in that half an hour, you could make somebody their breakfast, be chatting away, talking about the photos on the wall, and you're still doing those kind of like functional tasks, but it's the communication, it's the approach, it's there to say promoting choice wherever possible. That's where the quality is.
I love that. I love that. And in order to have half an hour of quality time, there's obviously work that goes into that to ensure that your preparation is there so that you can maximize that half an hour. And one of the things that I think is really interesting as well is, how do you leave that person? And when you walk out the door after half an hour, what impression is left?
Absolutely.
And how does that person feel about that visit? Because if they enjoyed the visit and they want more, there's something special about that. It's sad that they can't have more and more and more, of course, but the idea of someone being relieved when someone's gone is terrible, absolutely awful. But we've all experienced moments where we know that happens and have read about it, seen it in action, maybe. But I love the idea that the half an hour is actually just so much bigger than half an hour, and to be able to maximize that time, leaving them also with something to think about, or something to do, or something that allows that visit to effectively continue without them.
Or, for example, I went to see somebody, because sometimes I go and deliver the care myself with enabling support. And I do that. I want to know the people we're caring for. I love it. I really love it. I have to stop doing it. But also, if there's sickness or something like that, I'm your backup woman as well. But actually, it's about recognizing what we learn from others. So, for example, going to and kind of getting loads of tips over Christmas of like how to cook, the best way to cook your veg for Christmas. And we're working with people with such knowledge. It can be kind of practical stuff, but you're learning about them and their lives. And most people not all enjoy talking about their lives and they've done the most amazing things and traveled to the most amazing countries, alongside kind of very specific advice of how to turn an omelette in a pan, flat liver apparently, without kind of breaking it up. So it's about learning from people and for them and their self-esteem, because sometimes you might go and see someone that, you know, kind of I'm 90 old, or, you know, I can't do much, or I'm in, you know, my mobility is reduced, or whatever their kind of challenges are. But actually it's about genuinely enabling an experience where they feel that they still do have something to give, and it's often or can be knowledge.
Yes, 100%.
So,
And
yeah,
that
it's
boosts
just
self-esteem, it boosts
absolutely.
purpose, and that experience and that life experience that someone's had, you can find a way of showing them that that still matters. And yes, they
Definitely.
might not be able to do it now, but the gift is they
Yeah.
can put it on.
And then going back to what we were talking about before in terms of, you know, what a carer should be, yes, kind, but also, and again, it sounds obvious, somebody that's genuinely interested in other people.
Yep, 100%. You don't
Yeah.
want it when you're visiting somebody, it can't be about you.
No, because
And
it's not.
Exactly.
It shouldn't be.
Yeah, exactly. But if by talking about you, like you were just saying, you know, oh God, you know, I can never turn an omelette, or, you know,
Well, I
however.
can't actually. I might try it now, I know, but yeah.
But what that's actually doing is you're turning something about you into them. And so that art of conversation
Absolutely.
and that art of communication
Yeah.
is so key, so important. And I think you said, you know, you find and discover like a special kind of person that can be in the world of care. And when one of my questions that I was going to talk about is, what do you think is like the most important attribute of someone in care?
So it's what we've just said, really. So it's somebody that's interested in people, and it's somebody who is kind and caring. It really, for me, is as simple as that. So when I'm interviewing either for Sussex Staffing Solutions or Enablers Support, we're always thinking about what values does a person hold. And I sometimes say in interviews, look, I don't mind necessarily if you get the question wrong. What I'm more interested in is how you approach the question, because that tells me far more, because not everybody knows or has knowledge in terms of safeguarding adults, for example, or infection control, and I'm talking about carers now specifically, not our dental nurses or our nurses. But so really is, how does somebody approach that? And if their intention is good,
you can teach the rest.
Absolutely. And so you might be teaching things around kind of professional boundaries and all the obvious in terms of, if you have any concerns, just ring and talk to somebody.
Yeah.
Something's, so yeah. So for me, it's about somebody essentially having a good heart, being kind and caring, and wanting to do the job, and somebody who enjoys being with other people, caring for others, and genuinely wants to make a difference. Because as I've said, we have the opportunity to positively impact on somebody in their life. We're in a wonderful position, really.
Yeah. It's huge. It's amazing.
Yeah. So yeah.
There's also something about that like slight chameleon role that you have to play as a carer, because you might have had the worst day.
I know.
But you have to be able to find a way of leaving that at the door, I think.
Absolutely.
Because the unspoken word, i.e. what you sound like, what you look like, can sometimes really negatively impact a conversation. And the ability to be able to kind of bring that smile, make it genuine, because you are happy to see that person, even if you've had a bad day so far. Actually, that visit can transform your own life as well as the person that you're caring for, if you get it right.
No, definitely. And I think for our care staff, you're absolutely right. It's about learning almost to put your kind of professional hat on.
Yeah.
And you're there as professional.
Yeah.
So there are the associated kind of what's acceptable behaviour and boundaries and all the rest of it. But you're right. You leave your personal life kind of at the door.
Yeah.
You're there for that person.
Yeah.
And they only have a finite amount of time.
Yeah.
Might be an hour, it might be half an hour, whatever it is. But yeah, you're there for them. And then if you do a good job, or when you do a good job, then you're right, then it makes you feel great, and that's the truth as well.
Yeah,
So,
it really is, isn't it? When you know you've made a difference, that
yeah,
feeling of joy,
yeah.
and you can't beat it, I don't think.
No, it's a bit like one of our team a few weeks ago. This is with Enable and Support. We are supporting a woman who was rode horses for years and years. She hasn't ridden for many years. She has health issues. She has recently diagnosed dementia. And actually, she went out with one of the team to a local animal sanctuary just to feed the horses. And she absolutely loved it. The carer loved it. She loved it. So now she's talking about maybe wanting to ride horses again. So we're going to reach out to some, I know there's some local kind of disability groups to support, people with physical and other needs to ride. So we don't know if that's possible, but it might, but we're going to try because she now wants.
How amazing is that? If there's anybody listening to this that can help, please get in touch with Grace.
Yeah. So, but it was just the impact, and this was somebody who hadn't left her house for a year at one point.
God, that's amazing.
And now she's talking about wanting to ride horses.
It's amazing. It's
I need to do a bit of a risk assessment on that one. But yeah. So actually, it's not only, you can really, just do great things with people, support them to do what they want to do.
Yeah,
it's great.
Honestly, I don't think we can get better than that. So I think we should stop. Grace, thank you so much for taking the time. I know you're a busy lady, not one business, but two. Really appreciate it. And I appreciate everything you've done for me personally and the confidence that you instilled in me in that first ever meeting. And thank you, because it really helped.
Do you know, you really don't need to thank me, because when I met you, I was so impressed by what you were doing and what inspired you to do it. That was all genuine. So I enjoyed meeting you, really, and we know each other now. So
absolutely, Grace, thank you so much.
Very well.